If you're watching this video, chances are you are here because you are interested in your inner child, healing your inner child, working with your inner child, finding out if you have an inner child. Well, I can tell you, you do have an inner child. Every person has an inner child, which is the childlike aspect of us. And some of us have our inner child, which is wounded. And within our psyche, we have a wounded inner child which holds on to pain and trauma and remembers them as they happen because the unconscious mind has no sense of time. So what happens is when something happens to us as a child that is a negative, we create sort of like a snapshot moment of it. But memory changes. So this is not like a literal snapshot we take in our heads and it sticks like that forever. No, a memory changes. So as time goes on, the memory also changes and we change the memory too. The inner child is a part of our psyche that's not developed as it should be. And this is where most of our unmet needs as children are held in that part of the psyche. And it then manifests in our lives in various different ways, such as self-sabotage, perfectionism, people-pleasing, the list goes on, self-loathing, lack of self-esteem, goes on and on and on and on. So how do you know if you have an inner child? Well, your inner child will show itself through triggers. If someone triggers something in you and you get these sort of feelings that are just come up, that's your inner child. And if you remember memories pertaining to a past event that you involuntarily recall in your mind, that is your inner child telling you, hey, I'm here, this and this happened to me, and oh, I still feel hurt by it, or I still remember it. Okay, what does the inner child want? The inner child simply wants to connect with you, because think about the pain and the emotions and the trauma that you possibly have gone through. That was your inner child which experienced that at an age where they couldn't understand things from an adult point of view, of course, because they're not an adult, they were a child, right? So they will have a different understanding of the world. And in terms of doing inner child work, we're then able to really help ourselves by initiating that connection as we would have liked to have had from our parents. So now we become our parents and we become the teachers to this inner child, teaching them how to function, learning new skills so that we can connect and heal them, essentially. Is it possible to heal every wound you have, every inner child wound? No. But is it possible to heal quite a lot of them? Yeah, that is possible. We just have to have the right sort of mindset for it, but it's possible. And when does the inner child come out? The inner child comes out, as I said, when you're triggered. If someone says something to you along the lines of, and I'm using this just as an example, oh, you're fat, oh, you're skinny, your brain will then go and pull up the information about you being fat, about you being skinny, way back in the past when it was first said to you. It may have just been a sentence that was said to you without the other person taking any real notice of it, but you felt the pain of that. You felt the burn from that, and this is what created a burnt inner child. If you want to heal your inner being and you want to really develop as an adult and really be that woman you want to be for yourself, then inner child work is what is necessary, because you are always going to feel aspects of your inner child pop up in your life. Doesn't matter what path you're on. If your inner child needs to be heard, they will let you know they need to be heard. And you'll feel sensations in your body. You will have memories. You'll have flashbacks. And this is your inner child communicating with you. And it is possible for you to connect with your inner child. It's just important to have an open mind about this And the more open your mind is, and the more you believe that you have your inner child and you're connecting with this inner child, because your inner child will speak to you in the ways I've mentioned. And as long as you're listening to what your inner child is wanting, is calling from you, then you will most likely heal your inner child. But what happens if you don't listen to your inner child and you don't pay attention and you just carry on like normal, like you have? Well, nothing is going to get sorted out and undone or unstuck. And what happens is, with the inner child being in a stagnant developmental space in your psyche, or occupying that space in your psyche, you don't get to change and develop. You don't get to go over that hurdle. And the reason you don't get to go over that hurdle is because the inner child doesn't have the tools, and they don't have the belief that they can do it. Not that you can't do it, that they can do it. Whenever you feel as though you can't do something, start using the reparenting tool of positive self-talk. And positive self-talk in the sense of asking your inner child what they want. If you feel something come up, ask, what do you want? How are you feeling? What can I do to change this? What can I do to help? I'm listening to you. And sometimes by just saying, I'm listening to you, your inner child will just say, okay. And you'll hear this sense of childlikeness, and you'll feel that sort of rush in you. And that's your inner child talking to you. And you'll know if your inner child is in a sulky mood, because you'll feel the energy of sulkiness, right? So your inner child is always connecting with you, but it's up to you to relearn how to connect with yourself. And one of the key factors in reconnecting with your inner child is forgiveness, self-forgiveness. You have got to learn to forgive yourself in order for your inner child to know it's okay to forgive themselves, right? So the more you practice self-forgiveness, because it's such an intimate thing, right? It's such an intimate thing to be doing with yourself. And the more you practice that connection and intimacy of talking to yourself in a gentle parenting type of way, then you will realize, you see so much changes in your inner world, and your inner child will become stronger, and then nothing anyone can say to you can penetrate you, because your inner child is stronger and you're stronger. And you know that whenever you think about yourself, you know that you are connected to your inner child, and you know that you have the power to not be swayed by any negative words or any negativity that anyone has to say to you, because you are over that now. You'll reach a point where, and this is the mantra you'll be saying, I have now healed my inner child. My inner child now lives in my upgraded reality. That is a very important mantra to say. Like, write it down on a sticky note, put it everywhere, so that your inner child gets the memo also, and the other parts of your brain gets the memo that you have changed, you are changing, you have the power to change, and you are a powerful being. And where you might not have felt powerful in the past, and your inner child may have felt weak and not able to handle things, with that mantra, you are giving yourself the space to say, I am me now. My inner child is with me, but events happened then. But I'm in control, and I love my inner child. And my inner child is worthy of love, because she is lovable. She is the best thing around. Now, I hope this helps. Try it and let me know how you get on. And I'll see you in my next video. Mwah!